All right, let's just get right into it. If you are new here, my name is Jackie, and this is Dream Ether. Dream Ether is the cleanest primordial energy. It is a perfect energy, being undetectable and having no waste or manifestation of existence. Theoretically, anything is possible given the correct use of Dream Ether. So I found that super significant to kind of give a little bit of a description of what Dream Ether is. And as I find that it's going to play into the energies about this solar eclipse and this whole eclipse cycle or portal that we are in currently. Between these two celestial events, we just came out of the spring equinox. We also had a full moon lunar eclipse this last March. So we're moving now into the solar eclipse here on March 8th, which is gonna bring profound changes to those of you that are star seeds or light workers, or you have a profound innate feeling that you are meant to do something big in your life in this incarnation, that you came here for this reason in this exact time to help usher in the new earth. And so that is what I focus on a lot, is this new earth that we are collectively manifesting together in the dream ether. So, and I find it even more beautiful that this solar eclipse that we're coming up on, we are so it's April 2nd currently. This will happen next Monday, April 8th. So let's get back into some of this dream ether energy and see where it takes us. I've gone in kind of a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I've prepared myself to share some of the things that I find relevant and that keep coming up in my meditations and in my research. So, and through the connections that I have, my spirit guides, my, archangels and ascended masters that I work with, I'm very lucky that I'm able to share this message. I just have to get past my 3D self a lot of the times, but I find that when I meditate first thing in the morning, it does help me connect to my higher self instantly, and brings me a much more confident, competent energy throughout the day. And it also clears my energy and fills me up with some positive light. So, all right, um, so theoretically, anything is possible given the correct use of dream ether. Ether is constantly observed from the atmosphere. The more ether experienced in one place, which is numbers in people. So what I'm picking up on that is the more that people are picking up on this consciousness, this ether, the power of the ether, the more spiritually evolved these creatures. So the faster the ether grew. So I got this information as I was trying to come up with this channel to share these messages, and Dream Ether came to me because Dream Weaver is one of my many titles. And so Dream Ether is really more like bringing in our dreams, that primordial energy of our thoughts. So I find it super cool that so many of us on Earth, on planet Earth right now, are connecting to these energies innately, and it is actually ushering us into a swift shift of consciousness, and that is exactly what this eclipse is going to align us with. All right. So I just thought it was interesting where I found this about the dream ether, and it was on an Oracle wiki site. So I wrote down at the time what it was saying to me, and it was a little deeper than the most recent definition that I found. And when I searched for it this time, I actually searched the spiritual meaning behind dream ether. I find that when you get more specific with what your intention is behind your searches, that you get different information, which it can be very can be helpful. So in this case, it talks about the atmosphere, the more ether experienced in one place, which is numbers of in people, the more ether, the more spiritually evolved these creatures. The faster the ether grew, a virtuous circle, no matter which seed world was considered, any civilization advanced enough to one day feel or detect it. So again, something about that is really ringing to me with this energy that we have with the solar eclipse. The ether, or rather dream ether, is the primordial energy at the origin of the universe. No one knows where it comes from, and it is considered infinite. From ether comes energy, and from energy comes matter. The higher the density of ether, the greater the probability that the energy and matter will generate. So the higher in numbers of us believe and visualize this new world, this new earth, this unconditional acceptance, the greater the probability that energy and matter will be generated. So with this solar eclipse, it's creating a portal for us to jump to our highest timeline. This is literally what I'm getting from this. They say in the astral ether, afterlife, or whatever you want to call it, you can create anything you want just by your thoughts. And that is exactly our reality, that most of us are starting to understand, that we really do hold the key for our life. And it takes a lot of dismantling. Some of us have to go through some pretty dark nights of the soul, which, just since we're here on this subject, the dark night of the soul is actually a process, that must happen. So the dark night is a stage of final and complete purification, marked with confusion, helplessness, stagnation of will, and a sense of withdrawal of God's presence. It's a final unselfing and surrender to the hidden purpose of the divine work. The divine will. But also, in my case, of divine work. It also can involve something called an ego death. And an ego death is the disappearance of an individual's sense of self, or the removal of one's perception of oneself as an entity separate from one's social or physical environment, or releasing one's attachments to sense of self. It is a necessary part of spiritual growth. So whether it's a dark night of the soul, whether it's an ego death, whatever you call it, it's very much some of the themes that are playing out right now, especially having just came out of the equinox, coming from that winter season and being re-alived in the fertileness of, spring. So that brought me to my next point, which is spirit. The spirit is the fifth element of spirit, ether, or akasha. Akasha is a Sanskrit word for ether, which represents the universal inner space. The material fills the region. The material that fills the region of the universe above the terrestrial plane or sphere. And I drew a picture to kind of give you an example of how that works. The spirit is supposed to be at the top here, but I ran out of room. So these are some of the symbols and symbology that are associated with some of these alchemical energies that we have access to, spirit being one of them, as it says, the fifth element. Spirit represents the prime element present in all things, providing space, connection, and balance for all elements to exist. And as I was drawing this circle, as I was drawing this this pentacle or this star, whatever you want to call it, and filling in the colors and everything, I noticed how the white actually connects everything, and it actually even it's a perfect symbol for spirit to represent the other elements, the other five, four elements: air, earth, fire, water. And it's showing in this depiction, providing space, connection, and balance for all elements to exist. And you see how the white is connecting all of the different colors equally. So spirit represents the sense of joy and union, transcendence, transformation, change, everywhere and nowhere, within and without, immanence. It represents the human spirit and energy of the goddess and God. It is essential to our sense of connectedness with spirit and well-being. So this, you may be new on your spiritual journey, and if you have been guided to this video, then welcome here. You are welcome here, and you are safe here to explore some of the concepts that you might not otherwise have found yourself at, because a lot of what's going on in right now is this dark night of this collective dark night of the soul. It's going to be very interesting. So let's just get into the solar eclipse energies. Solar eclipse, April 8th, 2024. Okay, so rare opportunity for spiritual growth and development if we open ourselves to receive its beneficial energies and lessons. So that's a very huge thing to be aware of, because you want to actually, with intention, be open for this spiritual growth. And when I say that, I mean being open to connecting with the elements around you, like the sun, the moon, the energies that are that are surrounding you, using those energies, and in order to receive them, you have to have that intention to connect with them. A solar eclipse happens when, so I say that you have to have the intention. It amplifies the connection. There are some of you who may not need that necessarily. Some of what goes on in celestial alignments is just divine timing. So something, and I need to do this myself, but look into your natal chart. If you're new to what a natal chart is, it's basically your birth chart. It is kind of how it's your blueprint. Okay, so you're gonna go to cafeastrology.com, and go to the natal chart, free natal chart report, and type in, maybe if you don't know your birth time, find it. If you don't know your birthplace, find it. The more information that you have, the more precise it's going to be, and that's what you want. So it'll give you your natal chart, which is a circular chart that is divided into, I think, 12 houses, and it's just this pretty mathematical map of the celestial alignments that occurred exactly the day that you were born, and how those will affect you in your life forever. So a lot of people like to say whatever about astrology, but there's something much deeper. And I'm not talking about horoscopes, because if you're somebody who does check your horoscope regularly, you're going to want to check out Cafe Astrology. And once you plug in your natal chart information, I believe you can save it, and then you can use their daily transits portion to actually it uses your natal chart, and it basically maps what the today's alignments are doing for you, long and short. I find it pretty helpful. And that's something that I use in my own spiritual journey, not to predict, but to help me kind of align more with the energies, because there are some days where we find ourselves struggling with the inner thoughts and the things that are going on. And if we just took a moment to actually look at the energies that were, present in that day that may have been affecting that, we could have used our intellect in a more direct way and lessen that stress, honestly. All right. So, to explain what a solar eclipse is, because a lot of people are a little confused, or maybe they just forgot how this works, because I definitely did. I didn't remember how this works until I looked into the science again. So, a solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the earth and the sun totally. This case totally, or we do have partial eclipse, but the degrees, the angles, the alignments of all of these, of the sun, the moon, and earth, are going to create this total solar eclipse. So the sun will be covered for 4 minutes during the day. So it's the sun for a short period of time. So 4 minutes is going to be about the length of time. And I think that's a pretty interesting number, seeing as once we get deeper into some of these alignments, but that 4 is really a foundational level. It's very grounded, which is only further it's only further like exasperating these energies that are super. These energies alone are already a lot. Okay, that's me trying to put it in a nutshell, because there's not even a way for me to explain this, okay, other than these words that I have here and some of this ramble that comes to my mind, because it's a lot. Okay, so this alignment holds deep symbolic meaning and has been known by ancient cultures around the world to spur changes in our lives. During eclipses, the veil between worlds are thin as dark cosmic forces draw nearer. So I've never actually seen a total eclipse ever. I don't think I've ever been, either I've been working, or I don't know how that has never happened for me. But yeah. So I'm really curious about that, because there was a couple of months back when we had this situation going on with the moon, where all the other planets were aligned on this side of the Earth, but the moon was by itself on the opposite side of Earth, cast against the vastness of space. And I remember looking up at the sky that night and just feeling that, like, whoa, what is, like, all of that? Like, what the fuck? It felt really deep. And so I'm really curious to see how that's going to happen during the day, with the sun being blocked by the moon in certain parts of the world. So, like I said, during the time of the eclipse, the veil between worlds is thin. So I said, as I'm getting there, 1:44 on the clock, the veils have actually been thinning for the last at least 9 months. They've been getting significantly thinner. And if you haven't already, stop and pause the video, get yourself something to drink, maybe a snack, or something to write with. Also, something that I wanted to point out, is something I'm also working on myself, is energy is the current of life. Okay? Attention is the currency. Attention is the currency of life. Where attention flows, energy goes. So when you are doing anything in your life, I mean, I know there comes a time where we do two things at once, where we are listening to podcasts, or we're listening to music and we're working, or this or that. But I find that when we take a moment to really slow down and take fully in the moments that we gain a lot more perspective. So I'm not like knocking anyone by any means. If you have the opportunity, take a moment, however you feel, because I know there's a lot of times when I hear that on other people's videos and I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't really need a drink, or I don't need, any snacks or whatever. I'm comfortable. So basically my point is just get comfy. We're really only on the first page of this. So but you're going to want to hear a lot of this, okay? I always take too much. All right, so this is a time to reflect inward and release what no longer serves. Okay, and this is like what no longer serves you and your higher self and your highest timeline. Because if you're still here and you're still watching this, something deep down inside of you, is urging you to align with your highest timeline, your higher self. There are many meditations that you can do that are guided on YouTube here. I'm going to start posting some simple meditations, some I am Diosa activations for the goddesses or God, in you. And the starseed activations and meditations, and some more tools for divination for day-to-day life. I'm going to start posting a lot more of that, but a lot more of that comes from getting to the base level, which is what I'm so happy about right now, because we have these foundations here for us right now to set this up, to build this beautiful world. So, it's a time to attune to life's deeper purpose, and that is your higher selves, your soul, the highest version of you, the highest dimension of your soul, and your soul is immortal. So connecting to that godlike self within you. All right, so spiritual traditions teach that an eclipse is a time for personal transformation, empowers us to reshape old patterns into new, enlightened phases of experience. Empowers us to reshape old patterns into new, enlightened phases of experience. Profound gifts. Profound shifts. This eclipse may spark for those willing to accept this transformation. So, the more that you do some of this work that's coming up for you, there may be some, deep-rooted traumas that may come from this life, or may have accumulated over the course of your soul's journey. So maybe past lives and things like that. We have another, so we're in this portal between these eclipses. The lunar eclipse that we just had from the full moon. So 2 weeks. So this 2-week portal is what we're calling it. Now within that portal, we also have the 4/4 portal on the 4th of April. 4/4/4, but also 4/4. And it has something to do with this asteroid named Cryon, which is also known as the wounded healer. So another celestial aspect that is adding and helping and assisting us purge these deep-rooted traumas that are stored in the root chakra, which is the base chakra, which is the foundation of your energetic field. So, and with April also being, I guess, a red month, we've got a lot of things going on. I mean, we're also I haven't even gotten into Mercury retrograde. So let's just, resonate on this, right? It's kind of a lot, growth of human consciousness and spiritual development. Prepare. So prepare spiritually. A lot of people forget that we are spirit and we are human. there's a lot of that disconnect here, and I there's a lot of that disconnect with people's souls, and what do they call it, that God-sized hole that needs to be filled, whether you're religious, whether you're spiritual, whatever it is for you, the universe, uh, that empty vastness that needs to be filled with spirit is missing in most people's life. And I'm here to help you harness this magical, alchemical, spiritual energy that each of us has to transcend our life, transcend our trials and our traumas, and actually provide the foundations for the future of this planet with spiritual and emotional and physical well-being. And that's the foundation that you can't have one without the other. You can't have your spirituality and your mind, body, spirit. So you can't have your spirituality and your psychological, like, you cannot be all up in the head, right? Because then you have no foundation and it comes crumbling down. You can't just be physical and mental, because then you're creating this hole, this God-sized hole here, and again, it comes crumbling down. So no matter which way you look at it, whether it's you just have your spirituality and your physical, but you never work on the mind, there's another fucking, there's another hole there. So that Trinity, and 3 being a major aspect of this as well. Okay, so I really, really, really hope, and I really, really pray and send out the energy that a lot of you that this video reaches, that you really take into consideration, what I'm saying. I pray that it resonates with you so in such a way that it aligns easily for you. Some of us, it won't be as easy because they may be fighting it. So if you're struggling, I'm telling you, when you surrender, give up the reins to God and start building your connection to yourself and spirit, your mind gets clearer, your spirituality, starts to bridge, and now you have the triad, the complete stability. So, okay. So number 1, a celestial phenomenon. A powerful gateway, a cosmic portal that will open up to allow higher dimensional energies and frequencies to penetrate our earthly realm. Influx of divine light and cosmic codes has the potential to catalyzing a massive shift in human consciousness, accelerating our spiritual awakening and evolution as a species, creating a moment of darkness in the middle of the day. The universe aligns in perfect celestial symmetry, and energies from the higher realms are able to flow. Deeper spiritual currents can be felt by those who are attuned. So, leading up to the event, increased intuitive awarenesses, or increased intuitive awareness, vivid dreams, Kundalini awakenings, or an overall feeling of energy flux as you are being recalibrated to the incoming light frequencies. Okay? So, leading up to this event, so for the next week, okay? And you may have been feeling this prior to, as I have myself. I don't know if, okay, so personally, I didn't even know that I personally was born on an eclipse. Around, it was the autumn equinox, and it was an eclipse. And it was a solar eclipse, actually. I don't know the times and everything else, but I've looked into that for myself because I'd like to know what moon I was born on, as I've been getting deeper into the moon cycles and things like that, and how to use those energies. But I found out that I was born on a new moon, and now knowing that I know solar eclipses happen only on new moons, I was born in this energy during the fall equinox, which I think maybe for me personally, that will heighten more. Jeez. That will heighten more maybe here in the fall for some of you who may be, Libras as well. So, and I also was born during a Mercury retrograde. So I find that this energy right now is super significant, not only for me, but for those of you as well that have this innate feeling that something is coming. But without having the answers, you can be in a state of fear, and that's not the state of mind you want to be in, because this is a powerful portal shifting into the new earth, the fifth dimension, and it's very much a frequency. And it's a frequency war as well that we're going through. So you're going to be met with some people, some things, some energies, whatever it is, the ops. Don't feed into it, and just maintain as much as possible this balanced energy, because the energy that you have going after or in, so once you hit the eclipse, it's going to be the foundation for your frequency from here on, at least until the next eclipse cycle, which I believe is going to be this in the fall. And there as well, our eclipse cycles, the earth is speeding, like every kind of time isn't speeding up, but some of the things are speeding up. That being, we're going to start having more eclipses coming up in the future years. We're going to start seeing more of those cycles happening up to 6 times a year, which is crazy. You can't tell me that time isn't speeding up then, right? Our calendar may not be, but the fucking space around us definitely is. Okay, so all right, so yeah, we're really lining up. So not only that, this is I'm pretty sure I wrote it down in here, but not only do we have this alignment with the sun, the moon, and casting that shadow, over the sun, creating this darkness on the planet for 4 minutes on the path of totality, which is another subject that I need to bring in. But we are aligning with the galactic center of the Milky Way. And I have that coming up. So we'll just keep going with the notes that I have been channeling for the past week now. So this eclipse provides a gateway for activating DNA strands, triggering awakenings, clearing blockages, downloading new templates of consciousness from the cosmic source, the universe source. Potent eclipse window. This is what we're in right now. Is a potent eclipse window. But more importantly, this specific date, the 8th of this eclipse, okay? We're just in this procession, basically, to the solar eclipse right now. So you're going to want to spend time meditating, prayer, and sacred ceremony. So I have done a couple of sacred ceremonies for myself. One around the full moon to release and let go and try to purge out energies that were no longer serving me. I also do this daily with meditation, visualizing positive white light coming in from the celestial, source. This white light coming in and filling up my entire vessel with positive white light energy, and on the out breath, releasing it into Mother Earth. And I picture this actually as positive symbols, because sometimes it takes me a while to get into that visualization of it. When you actually visualize stuff, you change the energy actually a lot. So you're really filling yourself up. You're breathing in the prana all the positive white light energy, and you're just pouring down, letting it wash down through you. However you have to visualize that, get playful. You can do that. There's a couple of meditations that I do, one of which is only 5 minutes. It puts me into that state of mind. It also is coupled with some affirmations, gets you into that powerful connection of your higher self. And then I follow it up with some Kundalini, which, if you are new to Kundalini and you are not ready to dive deeper into your soul's journey, I would suggest taking it easy. Also, something you're going to want to take easy right now, even though we have a lot of extra energy now with the sun, we still want to take things easy, meaning no strenuous exercise. Maybe do a third of what your normal physical workload looks like, just to help ease in a lot of this energy and integrate it. Because when we have this type of energy influx, your body goes through a download. It goes through a, and also the more that you can purge, the more that you can get, that you can pull in from the sun. So, side note. All right, so this is going to be triggering awakenings, clearing blockages, downloading new templates of consciousness from the cosmic source, the universe. So a way that you can look at this too is like when you're resting, your body is digesting. And there's a lot of digesting that needs to go on right now. Okay, so things like by stilling the mind and opening your heart, you become a chalice for the universe to pour its blessings into. And something that I noticed the other day when I was doing my meditation, or I was doing Kundalini, so you take your finger and you bring it out here, bring it to your nose, and look at your fingers at the tip of your nose, and just focus your energy there, right? So that's what I do for one of the chants and breathing techniques, or whatever you call it. I don't really know the verbiage. So anyways, I probably look silly right now, but I can see between this what looks like a chalice. And at the same time, it's opening up this channel to your third eye. And, that's creating this super cool perspective. It's kind of like a kaleidoscope. But doing that practice can actually help awaken and clear the calcification on your third eye if you're new to this. Whew. Give me a little bit of a spark there. So, and the more that you do these types of things, the stronger these feelings get. And especially if you're in tension and you're conscious about all of these things that are going on celestially, because a lot of this is the conscious intention to connect with these higher dimensions, with this energy that is coming in from these higher dimensions. Excuse me. All right. So there's a lot of good and there's a lot of assistance to the bad. That's how you can look at it. There's a lot of good coming. There's a lot of things that are coming up because with the energy of the 4/4 portal on the 4th, it is going to and having it be in some sort of alignment with Cryon coming into the eclipse, also having its effect. Cryon's going to be involved in this alignment as well, which is also known as the wounded healer. And the wounded healer is to help us heal our inner traumas, right? So maybe on the 4th coming up, this is today, so we have 2 days until then. I want to just encourage you to spend that day maybe connecting to your root chakra, doing some meditations where you're, visualizing the connection between you and source. I like to do these outside. I find that it adds to the energy, whether it's in my head or out, it does create that visual representation of connection to me, I feel. So I like to do that. But you can find more information about the 4/4 portal. I didn't really do any research about that. There was so much that I had been sitting on about the eclipse that I wanted to bring out, so I did. But then I saw that this morning and I was like, okay. So really just another alignment of stability, of assistance to help create stability in our lives. So if you've never really felt comfortable going through some of the traumas, and if you don't have a counselor, like, I don't know, I don't really want to give anybody bad advice, or if you feel like you're struggling right now, this can be a great time to actually seek some assistance. And it's never a bad thing to have any assistance. Basically what it creates is there again, a foundation for you for stable thoughts, stable emotional release, and tools that can help you do that. Yeah. So, but like I said, during this time with the assistance of all of the energies, the planets, the Venus, Mars, Uranus, all of our planets, Pluto, they're all here to assist us. So at the same time, you might be experiencing these, tense motions, purging them and then filling yourself back up with divine light and love is going to be your biggest friend right now. Breath work, minor exercising, some stretches to get some of this dopamine release, you don't want to spend too much time in the darkness, but I will tell you, as someone I will tell you from experience, as someone who has come through their darkness and become the light of their own life, that is kind of the journey that this is, talking about. You cannot have light without dark. You cannot have light without darkness. So don't spend too much time delving into and dwelling on the darkness. Use it as your like fire. So you may experience rapid healing, receive incredible downloads of higher wisdom, or be granted a glimpse into the wider universe and your role within the cosmic plan. Profound insights and epiphanies as the eclipse cracks you open to the new levels of truth and understanding. And that is exactly what we want for this planet, is truth and understanding. After the eclipse, well, let me just go into more about the eclipse, because I have a lot of things here that I wrote. So the 777. So there's something here about about that angel number and about that in relation to the solar eclipse. So 7 years ago, the eclipse, I believe it was a total solar eclipse at that time too, also crossed through North America. And so it says there was an eclipse 7 years ago in 2017. Went right across America. There's another eclipse coming right across America, making a cross in the center of the nation. So I wrote down a couple of things here. It says, God made the first sign go through 7 cities named Salem. Okay, that was on August 21st, 2017. The word Salem in the Bible is the word peace. God is saying 7 times he offered peace. Okay, now there is another 7 biblical cities that the coming up solar eclipse is going to pass through. Nineveh, this next eclipse goes through 7 times. So 7 years ago, 7 cities of Salem, 7 times he offered peace, and then we have 7 cities of Nineveh, 777, okay? Now what gets even weirder is it crosses, so it says right in the center of the cross is a city called Rapture, but adjacent to that is also, it kind of is like on either side of it, it's like Rapture, and I think the other side of that cross section is like right out of the shadow is Jonah, the city of Jonah. So Jonah gave Nineveh 40 days. God said, you've got 40 days to repent. I find that kind of significant. And it also says, only the sign of Jonah will be shown to you. Jesus. 7 and 7 and 7. Right in the center of the cross is a city called Rapture. So what is God's message? We've got to repent and seek the God like never before. And, you know, for many of you, I'm not a religious person. I believe in God. I believe in source. I believe in spirit. I believe in universe. I believe in the God and goddess within each of us, the divine feminine, the divine masculine. And I believe that we have a lot of unraveling of our own awareness to the depths of our divinity, actually. So that's what I'm going to say about that. So Christos light is returning. When I talk about the rapture, or when I talk about Christos light or Christ light or Christ consciousness, I'm talking about the teachings and the consciousness of Christ, because I don't know that I don't believe that they're, you know, I haven't really decided about that. It's a Christ consciousness has come back. Christ is here. He's in you and he's in me. Christ consciousness is in your mind. So you have to create that connection. And we are being aligned with this right now. Look, okay, so the next topic is galactic center. The galactic center is the center of the Milky Way. It has, just to not, well, I guess I'll go into it. So there's a galactic disk or an accretion disk. Most of our stars and dust are the disk. It's a spiral shape with 4 major arms that extend from the center at the outskirts of the galaxy. So a thickness of 1,000 light years. It's split into a thin disk and a thick disk. The thin disk is the younger and denser part of primordial energy. Most of star formations and activity occurs. And now on the thick side is the older and more diffused part, where the stars are more metal poor and less luminous. So I'm wondering if that's kind of like the that's a duality of like the old and the new, right? We get denser as we get older. Anyways, so this is where it gets interesting, because the galactic center is the history and evolution of the galaxy. Formation of the stars and star formations and clusters, the building blocks of the galaxy. It's the supermassive black hole, okay? Millions or billions of that of our sun. All right, so surrounded by dust and gas is the accretion disk. So yeah, this is a DNA awakening, a serious dimension shift. If you have had any thought of rationality that I have during this video, you will see for yourself what I am saying. And so I wrote down a couple of angel numbers that were coming to me the other day that I find kind of significant, being that the 4/4 portal is in between the Eclipse portal that we're in. So it's kind of like a portal within a portal. And then, that's the same energy going into the solar eclipse, this 444, this 44, and this 8, okay? So, and actually 414 is also one that I had been keep seeing as well. So we'll start with the astrological number 8. The astrological number 8. The number 8 and the astrological meaning, or the meaning of angel number 8. Wow. Sorry. 8 shares its shape with the symbol of infinity. It is a number that comes blessed with positive energy, the power of transformations, and the possibility of infinite abundance. So that is what this year is bringing us. And we're just barely getting started in this year. The new year, the astrological new year, actually doesn't start until the sun moves into Aries in late March during the spring equinox. So, okay. So stay committed and focused. Financial success, stability, creation of new beginnings. Protect your positive energy. Maintain self-discipline and believe in your strength to overcome challenges. So just as a little help there to get through this. And angel number 414. So a sign sent from your guardian angels, a reminder that positive change is coming and that this will bring you to a place of near perfect soul alignment. Now is the time to pay attention to your spiritual center and to practice patience and balance without shying away from your responsibilities. 414 brings together the powerful energies of the number 4 and the number 1. It shows up when your angels want to communicate something important to you and lend their light and guidance to bring you back to your soul center. That's awesome. So, that kind of brings me back to this energy of spirit, right? So some of the types of magic that are included with spirit are enlightenment, finding your life path, spiritual knowledge, seeing and understanding karmic paths of life. Okay, so the reason why I find this significant is because of this alignment with the galactic center of the Milky Way. It's the heart of the Milky Way is connecting with the heart of our system, which is the sun and our earth. You know, it's like so many alignments. So directions. So the direction, associated with spirit is center. Circumference, complete. It's lack of direction and dimension. So I find that kind of interesting too, because that does play into a lot of this energy right now, because it can either be your center, spirit can either be your center, your rock, if you will. But without that foundation to spirit, you can have a lack of direction and dimension because you aren't anchoring in this directionless, primordial energy, which is ether, spirit. Its gender is universal. Its energy is universal. Colors that associate with spirit are white, black, and purple, which I find super significant. White, black, and purple. White and black, the duality, yin and yang, shadow and light. This is really causing us or ushering us into a time of shadow work. And maybe this will maybe this will be more apparent as we come out on the other side of this eclipse. So preparing yourself to purge and cleanse as much as possible is really going to help you on the other side of this eclipse, because we're ushering in something really profound. I just feel it. So, and then purple, higher consciousness, you know what I mean? The divine. And if you're interested in some, energy and tarot assistance, I have a few videos posted actually that are relating a lot to this reading, to this post. So the season that God or spirit is associated with is the turning of the wheel, the turning of the year, the turning wheel of the year, which I find super significant as well, like I just said, with the astrological new year being having happened on the equinox, the spring equinox. Okay, so back into the astrological new year. Well, first let me back up. Okay, so spirits also the goddess that can be associated with spirit would be the Lady Isis, or Mother Mary. I believe it's Mother Mary, or it might be Mary Magdalene, actually. Isis, Mary Magdalene. Hathor, Isis, Mary Magdalene. Okay, so then you have gods. The horned god Akasha, which, if you haven't done or are unaware of what Akashic records are. It's your soul's library. It's your soul's library, and you can tap into that. It takes a little bit of work, but it can be done with intention. And that means you can access your past lives, energy that you've basically stored in your Akash for you in your spirit to gain access to. But we are actually kind of severed from the awareness of that, being born in modern times and the way that they construct the social and other aspects of us and how we run. They don't want me to tell you that. So symbols that are associated with spirit are the infinity, cosmos, the Godhead, the creator, wheel, the pentacle, and infinity sign. The chakras that are associated with spirit are crown and the third eye. So if you don't know, this is your third eye chakra. So it starts the crown. You have the crown chakra, which is represented with the color purple. You have the crown chakra. Then you have your third eye, which is represented by like an indigo color. And I'm going to use this labradorite crystal to represent that. Okay. You actually have your throat chakra, and let me see, I don't have any out at the moment. Let's see. No, throat chakra. So the throat chakra is also blue, I thought. So it's like a, cascading rainbow down, right? So purple, like a blue, a lighter blue, like a turquoise. And then you go into the heart chakra, and that's green. And then you go into the solar plexus, and that is yellow. And then you go into the sacral, that is orange, and then the root, which is red. Okay, and right now we are definitely being ushered to use these energies connection to source and heal our root chakra. Like our little plant bodies are needing to be fertilized and given some nutrients. All right, so moving forward, gems and stones that are associated with quartz. I don't have any diamonds, but this is a quartz crystal. They come in many different sizes, And this is a large one, and this is a small one. And then even, I'm going to go a step further, which I can't remember which one this is, but there's also another chakra that is associated right here in like the apple, or like the little dip right here, that works really well with pyrite. But pyrite actually can work with any of your chakras if you're having any issues. Honestly, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I personally just started gathering things. I went through, a pretty rough time my whole life. It took me doing a lot of this introspection and going through some really dark times that I was able to come out on the other side of that. And that's why I'm here to try and help other people, come out on the other side of that. On the other side of feeling like you would rather just not be here, or you really just didn't have any, because of the things that I had experienced in my life growing up, and without the proper understanding of those set events growing up, and even into my early adult years, still not knowing and understanding those reasons, and having that understanding caused a lot of chaos in my life. And now that I understand why that caused chaos, I've now pulled the string back all the way back to my childhood, and I've rewoven the sweater. And it makes a lot more sense. I've allowed myself to release a lot of my, conscious and unconscious resentments, Has it been easy? No, but I don't think it should be. Has it been exactly what it has needed to be? Exactly what it's needed to be. Yes. Yeah. So I've been feeling something about this solar eclipse for months now. I want to say that even before the end of the last solar eclipse cycle in October 31st, we had a eclipse. And I think I want to say that it started then because it was a full moon. It was also so it was that's very interesting. So it was Halloween, full moon, lunar eclipse. And then it went to, I think it was the 11/11 portal was the next, the cycle. So it was like the solar eclipse comes after, and that was on the 11/11, which was crazy. So we've had these cycles of eclipses happening as well in conjunction to so many celestial synchronicities. It's just amazing. Okay. I was just looking over some of this stuff, and I just find it pretty funny. So I wrote down somewhere here, the Holy Spirit is guiding me 24/7. I can feel the Holy Spirit fire. I feel the drive, and in the heart, 5,000 times through the heart, feedback loop, the work of God and the work of me. We co-create, get to work, illusion and confusion. We rise together. Authenticity lasts the test of time. And I am here to tell you, yes, we have been elevated, and you can create, a deeper connection to source directly. We see this in our everyday lives, and I want to continue holding the light of Christ within me, and something like one of my other inspirational people that I watch here on YouTube from my everyday lives, he says these things a lot. So I find that they start to ring in my mind. And so, we do have to be aware that if you are having these profound feelings of your connection to a higher purpose right now, these are not for nothing. If you resonate with being a star seed, this is a very, very, this is what you came here for. If you identify with being a light worker, again, this is what you came here for. So start diving into it. It can be a lot of fun. There are different starseed families. There's so much to learn about it, like different a whole different world of things. Okay, Orion and the Pleiadians and the Lyran constellation and the Andromedans, and I'm telling you what, there's a lot out there that is going to be coming to light, and it's all meant to help us, and they were the ones who seeded us. So without getting too far off of that, okay, so starting back with the astrological new year, which starts on when the sun moves into Aries in late March during the spring equinox. So this year is a leap year. We did have an extra day in February, and so this year, the equinox happened on March 19th when the sun entered Aries. Now, this signifies a time of new beginnings and fresh starts. So the date that the New Year's is celebrated all depends on where you're located and what culture you're involved with, right? The Lunar New Year always takes place sometime between January 21st and February 20th, and I believe that would be the Chinese New Year. The Persian New Year takes place on the date of the spring equinox, usually March 20th. So prior to 1752, according to Time magazine, Great Britain and American colonies observed the date March 25th as the New Year prior to 1752. So that, is interesting. And it's also, it was observed So it is also known as the Feast of the Annunciation, when Christian and Catholic worlds celebrate the incarnation of Jesus Christ within Mary's womb. And I don't know that I've ever actually heard that before, so I liked that, and I decided to write it down and share it, because we did just get out of this Easter energies, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole with the Easter thing too, so I figured might as well. It's part of what's going on. All of this is so related. It's so important. So okay, so Easter origin, and I don't know why I felt like this was relevant, but I did, because I did a lot of research on it. So we're going to read it. So it's the English word for Easter comes from Astore, or Astare, the Anglo-Saxon goddess of spring and fertility. In Christianity, the day was dedicated to observing the resurrection of Jesus Christ, celebrated around the time of Jewish Passover. Now, Passover this year is going to be April 22nd to April 30th in the United States. And why is Passover so late? And I just kind of started looping into these questions, right? So there's Jewish leap year. Leap years are built into the lunar calendar because the lunar year is 11 days shorter than the solar year. So an extra month is added to certain years to make up the difference. So now, how is Easter determined? So Easter, it falls on the first Sunday after the full moon that follows the spring equinox. So last Sunday we had, well, not this very last Sunday, Easter Sunday, the Sunday before that we had the lunar eclipse. And it was also the full moon that determines the date of Easter. Interesting. So when did Passover take place in the Bible? So, because these were things that I was really concerned. I was like, what the fuck? There's so many things here, like Passover and Easter, and this Feast of the Annunciation, and this so many different New Year dates. I was just like, whoa. Okay, so I went into it, and so when did Passover take place in the Bible? As you know, Passover is related to the passing over of the firstborn from the Pharaoh. So early spring during the Hebrew calendar month of Nisan. So the Hebrew calendar I get into here in a minute. So as described in the book of Exodus. So Exodus 12:18 commands that Passover be celebrated from the 14th day of the month at evening. You shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. So when is Passover? Because the Hebrew calendar does not match up with the Gregorian calendar, the date of Passover changes every year. Well, what is Passover? So, I mean, I know this, but these were things that were just coming out to me that I felt were important. I now know this because I did some of the research. Do I know this by practice? No, I'm not Jewish. So, but I do believe there are truths in every religion and everything. So God is everywhere and everything. So I take time to look into all of it. Okay. So Passover commemorates the slavery of the Israelites in Egypt and their ultimate exodus to freedom. Liberation from slavery in Egypt and the Passover. The forces of